What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And in this video, I want to go over my experience going from DSLR to mirrorless. Now, this is not going to be a full in-depth video about the perks of DSLR and the perks of mirrorless. If you don't know that by now, I'm pretty sure there's a ton of videos out there. So I am pro mirrorless. I am all about mirrorless, but there are certain things that come with mirrorless, especially if you come in from Nikon. I think Canon is a little bit of an advantage that they have on the DSLR side with this one particular thing, but don't quote me on it. I am not a Canon shooter, but I think so. So if you are a Canon shooter and we get to this point and you have the same thing in DSLR, let me know down below. But before we get into this video, I want to say that my unityuniversity.co merch line, we have a new product. Now, I know that you all may shoot RAW, but do you shoot in EF? Do you shoot that? That is the new shirt that I have, and I'm going to try to make it available for all the different file types of different rods from Sony and Canon as well. But with the first one, it will be the Nikon NEF. So if you like that, make sure you go ahead on and purchase that, support the channel, do all the good things. Now let's get straight into it. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I've noticed that as I've been shooting, it's a lot of things that have changed since I came into the mirrorless world. Now, let me explain that just a little bit. With the DSLR, I would look in the back of my OVF, my optical viewfinder, and I would focus that way. I never did automatic, any type of auto focusing. I shot manual ever since I started shooting. So I would choose the eye, or I would focus recompose, which is where you select the eye and then move it down, because you have that little bitty space of your focal points. Okay, now with mirrorless, as you know, or you may not know, you can pretty much choose a point on the whole, around the whole image, which gave us so much more. Now, a lot of people say that they like their shots to be more in the center, because they say the center of the lens is where it's the most sharpest. But as we all see, if you are a Nikon user, as we all see, these shots coming from these lenses are pretty much sharp all across the whole image. So that was no longer a concern with mirrorless as well as it was with DSLR. But it's one thing that I felt that I had, and this is only probably me. This isn't even something you may face if you come to mirrorless, or if you already here on mirrorless. This is something that is just me. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the way I compose a shot. So in DSLR, while I'm looking through my optical viewfinder, you can see everything that you need to see. If I'm in at 50 mil, I'm looking at everything right there. I'm looking at what's cut out, and I can see the image a little bit better. And that's the problem when I came over to mirrorless, because of how easy it was to not have to control everything, to look for the eye and set it there. Because I was given my mirrorless camera the ability to go ahead on and find the eye, it gave me a reason of not feeling like I needed to look through the viewfinder. And when that happens, well, a couple of things actually happen from that. If you are a mirrorless shooter, tell me this, especially if you're new, did your shots start to increase? Are you taking way more photos than you took when you had a DSLR on a photo shoot? I am taking, I would say, at least 5 times more. I did a family session and I took 1,000 photos. I actually edited this session live. The video will be right here, but 1,000 photos in a matter of an hour and a half, just because I don't have to go ahead on and choose that eye from every single image. I can just trust my camera to make that choice for me, and with that, I'm just shooting away. Now, the next thing that it did for me, besides just shooting a lot of photos, like spraying and praying, as they would used to call it, right? Instead of just taking all of these photos, another thing that it really messed me up on was looking through the viewfinder and composing my shot the right way. And what I mean by that is, now I'm just looking at the back of my LCD, and I take all of these photos, I get it back on the computer, and I'm like, man, you catch things. When you look through your EVF or your OVF, you catch anything. You catch poses, you catch maybe a hand or something like that that's cut out the shot. You can see things way better. And that is, as I said, that may just be me. I see a lot of people that shoot mirrorless and they still look through it. But what really made this come to me is a person that said something on my channel and was asking, is it any benefits that you get from shooting off the LCD instead of the EVF? And in my opinion, it's probably the opposite. You know, it's no advantage you have of shooting off the LCD, except wait, whoa. This isn't scripted, by the way. This is all right here. It is one advantage. It's one advantage, and that advantage would be not having to put your body in positions that you don't want to put your body in, right? I remember one time I was going for a job that was kind of more on the construction side, and they asked me, what do I do? I'm like, I'm a photographer. And it was like, oh, well, do you think you'll be able to handle this? And I'm like, only if you knew what us photographers have to do for the shot. Because people think we don't get dirty. People think we don't get on the ground. We don't put our body in crazy positions, hold real tight at certain things. Like, it's a workout. And if you're a photographer, you know this regardless of if you shoot mirrorless or DSLR. Well, if you shoot mirrorless, you actually do not have to put your body through these, because you can shoot off the back of the LCD, meaning you can just put your hand down, look all the way. And if you're a Canon shooter or a Sony shooter, you have even more of an advantage, because now you got that nice flip out screen that we love to talk about so much, where you can actually see the shot a little bit better, where our shot, we can't really do that. So, you know, you take it, I'm sorry, oh, my camera's right here, cool. So, you know, we take our photos and we can just lower it down a little bit. And with our back of our screen, basically is, come on now, don't do me like that. Technical difficulties. All right, cool. So yeah, so this is the back of our screen basically. So unfortunately it doesn't come out this way so you can see it, but that is a thing that messes up my composition, honestly. Shooting off the back of my LCD and putting it low to the ground and just like looking at it from that angle, I'm trusting that it gets it. It makes me more of a lazy photographer. I'm making a video to sum all of this up in the real short way. Is I'm saying I feel switching to mirrorless made me a lazy photographer. And being a lazy photographer, can I get some good shots? Yes, but I always came from shoots with my DSLR feeling a little bit better than I felt coming off of my shoots from mirrorless. And it's not to blame mirrorless, it's just to blame me turning into a lazy photographer. I will leave a shoot feeling like I have something real great loaded up on a computer and just wish that I did different things, only because I'm not looking through my viewfinder. Another thing that happens when not looking through your viewfinder as well is the model or subject or whoever you're shooting, they are looking at you. A lot of times I take shots and I have to keep going like this by my lens so they could like look at my hands, because they'll be looking at my face while I'm looking at the screen. And I'm like, okay, you got to look at the lens. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking up in every single photo. If you have that problem, it is because you are not shooting through your EVF. So once you shoot through your EVF, they're gonna look where your eye is, what your eye is, you know, right there on the camera. They're gonna be looking at the lens like they're supposed to. I also feel like it may help the model feel a little bit more comfortable as well when you're doing that, because when you're just looking down like that, it's a disconnect. It's way more of a better connection when you aren't looking, because sometimes models are, you know, whether it's a model or just a regular person that you're doing a portrait with, sometimes they feel a little insecure. They feel a little, what's the word for it? You know, you get to a shoot and they're like, hey, I'm not a model. You know, I just want to take some good pictures. I don't know what to do. And when you're looking at that, they're looking at your facial expression. Anytime, and this is totally off guard, but anytime, and this is for probably a new photographer, because if you experience, you already know this. Once you start previewing your images, just know that whoever you're taking a photo of, they are looking at you and they're looking at your facial expressions to see exactly how you feel about the photos that you're taking. So I try to keep a smile on my face, because even if you don't like something you are doing, and you make a face that isn't, you know, smiling or something like that, they are going to think that they are doing something wrong, when in fact they aren't. It's just, you may be looking at settings, you may be looking at lighting or something like that. Now that's from DSLR to mirrorless, but it popped in my head. I figured I'd throw that out there because that is something that happens a lot. So make sure when you're looking at, you previewing your images and everything, make sure that the face you're making, or if you do find yourself making a bad face, explain to them why. Because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they are going to feel like they are doing something wrong, and it is not them. Now, to sum up this video, the reason why this really came to me is I was doing a challenge that I just posted, the paper shoot camera, and with that, it's like a little box. I couldn't look at the back of my LCD, and it's like I had so much more control over, you know, the image and what it is that I see. And that's another thing too, especially if you struggle with posing models and everything. It's hard to pose a model when you can't even see the right angle that you're taking a photo of them with. So make sure that you go ahead on, look through the EVF. If you're not, I am going to try to do the same thing. If you see me in the video not looking through my EVF, I just want you to comment on that video and say, stop being a lazy photographer. Okay. Sorry, my phone is just going crazy. So with that, that's all I had to say, just to bring you another video. It has been very slow on the news side, I know, which is why you probably haven't seen much of me. I've been refreshing Nikon rumors at least 30 times a day. It is nothing. We have no Z9 news. We have no any type of news. So until now, all I could do is make my challenge videos that a lot of you seem to not watch, and videos like this as well. I have not gone anywhere. I am still making videos. So yeah, until the next time, peace.